Hi guys, it's Mary McIntyre. Welcome back to my channel. I'm sure you'll have all been keeping an eye on all the great releases from the James Webb Space Telescope. This particular photograph is of Eta Carina, and this was amongst the very first images that the James Webb Telescope people actually released. And as soon as I saw this picture, it was just screaming at me to create a pastel drawing based on this. And it's one of those things that it's taken me ages to find the time to do, and I have actually been working on it in dribs and drabs for quite a while now. So last night I finally finished the pastel sketch, so I'm just here to explain how I did it and show you the final result. I didn't time lapse me doing this because, as I said, it was a lot of work. I was doing it in lots of different rooms, and trying to get the lighting kind of consistent when you do that is really difficult. So the first thing I did is got my black sketching paper, and I decided to just very lightly mark out the boundary between the blue gas and the kind of more orangey coloured gas. And once I'd done that, I basically was using the technique that you've seen me use before, where I scrape the pastel colour onto the page and then blend it with brushes. And I did loads of layers of this, and I think pastel sketches like this often go through a bit of an ugly phase, and you're thinking this is never going to look anything like what I want it to, but you have to trust the process and just go with it. And so that's what I did, just lots and lots of layers, 3 different shades of blue, 2 or 3 different shades of orange, plus the white, and here and there a bit of black, just scraping it on, blending it. Knowing that I was going to go over the top of this was just like the basic bottom layer that I was working on. There were times where I wasn't getting quite what I was looking for, so I kind of then started to go in a little bit more with the pencils and draw and blend. And when I blend, I sometimes use my finger, but sometimes the oils from your finger can mark the page, so I actually prefer to use cotton buds. Blending stumps are really good, but they can give you a harsher line, so they're really good for pencils, but sometimes with pastels I actually prefer a cotton bud because it gives you a slightly more muted view. So once I'd got to this stage, it was when I then worked on the image again is where I made a massive mistake. So when I did the original outline, I had the full-size image on the screen, and that was all fine. I drew the outline. When I opened it again, it was full screen, but in between that and me getting my stuff together, one of my cats must have jumped onto the keyboard or knocked the mouse, and the image was zoomed in, and I started filling in the detail, and I'm thinking, how did I get this outline so wrong? And it's because I was looking at a small fraction of that, well, not a small fraction, but a portion of the image rather than the full size one. So I was rubbing bits out and redrawing the outline of the boundary between the two colours, because I was thinking, how did I get this so wrong? So as a lesson to you, if you do pastel drawing, make sure that you don't zoom in for part of it and out for others. I've done that before, and it was a mistake I thought I would never make again. In my defence, I didn't zoom it in this time. It was my cat that did it, but I just didn't notice. So yeah, a long-winded way of saying what I did next was correct the shape to try to fit what I thought I was seeing, and then going in with the oranges, the red tones and some browns, and just trying to mark out the vague shape of all those kind of gas shells. This is such a complex region, it's impossible for me with my skill to replicate it at every single tendril of gas and dust, but I was going through cotton buds, different colours, and at this point I'd kind of gone in, done a little bit more detail, starting to add the stars on there, and just kind of really enjoying the process at this point. I'd kind of taken a step back, kept looking at it from a distance, thinking, am I happy with the blend? Am I happy with all of these other things? Trying to incorporate some violets and pinks under there. I don't have very pale colours of pastel pencils, so I was blending with white underneath to try to mimic the colours that you can actually see in that final image. So once I was happy with all of the gas and stuff, I went along with my pastel pencil and just gently marked in where the stars were. And then I went over the stars using a Posca acrylic paint pen in white, and then around the brighter stars I then just added a little bit more pastel dust to get the star glow that you can see in the original. So this is the final finished pastel sketch, and the stars here are just stars. They don't have diffraction spikes on them. If you look at the original of a James Webb photograph, that all the bright stars on the images have 6 diffraction spikes on. The Hubble has 4, the James Webb has 6, and that is because the Hubble Space Telescope has got like a cross that is holding the kind of primary, the secondary in place, sorry. So the front of a mirror telescope has a kind of truss that is a cross shape, and that gives you 4 diffraction spikes. On the James Webb, because it's made up of hexagonal mirror array, every bright object within the image that is a point source will have 6 diffraction spikes on it. So I think it's really nice to see what these images would look like without the diffraction spikes. So initially I didn't put them on. I wanted to see it as it would look if we didn't have diffraction spikes. So here's the original. I haven't really replicated the star colour here. I just wanted to keep the stars kind of colourless. But here you can see those diffraction spikes. I don't hate diffraction spikes. Some people do. I actually quite like them, but I also knew that there is no way I would be able to draw them. So what I did is I took my sketch, opened it up with Photoshop CS2 and used the Star Spikes Pro plugin, and in that app you can change the angle of the spikes and choose how many spikes there are. So I selected 6 spikes, made sure the angle mimicked what I was seeing on the original James Webb image. I actually think that diffraction spikes are nice and they do belong there if a photograph is being taken with a mirror telescope. If it's been taken with a refractor, then they shouldn't be there. But when it comes to this sketch, I really like the star spikes being on because that's what the James Webb one has, but I also like it without, and I honestly just cannot decide between the two of them. I just don't know which I prefer more. So let me know what you think. Do you prefer it with the diffraction spikes, or do you prefer it without? Because with, it's more authentic to the picture that I've copied. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. It's just a short video explaining how I went about creating that sketch. At first I was kind of annoyed as heck when I realised the mistake that I'd made, but ultimately I think I'm happy with the sketch. It's one of those, it always takes me a few days to fall in love with a sketch when I finished it, because when I first finish it all I see is the flaws. And I shared this on Facebook last night and I've had some really lovely comments on it, so that's really nice. So thanks everybody for interacting with that. I still can't share this on Twitter because I am still locked out of my Twitter account. The appeals process is taking forever for the Perseid meteor that they claimed broke their rule on sharing intimate media. Completely crazy. But anyway, I can't share this on Twitter right now, but you guys on YouTube can see it. So let me know what you think of it in the comments below. So have a great weekend everyone, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.